Welcome back. Today we're going to be studying 3.5, the function. A function is a relation that for every input there is one and only one output. Anything important, say 3 times. A function is a relation for every input there's only one and only one output. A function is a relation for every input there is one and only one output. There are many different ways to represent functions. We can represent them like tables, so where we have an input of 1 and of 0, an output of 1, an input of 1, an output of 2, an input of 2, output of 4, input of 3, output of 8, and so on and so forth. We can represent them in function notation, where we have something like a set here, which is a special type of list. And we say, well, if this is put in this input set, it gives me this output set based on the rule that x will give me to the x. We can show that as a diagram where we have the inputs here and the outputs here. Or we can show it as a sequence, which is what relates to what we've just been doing. We're going to now use our skills that we've developed with this spreadsheet to be able to understand and interpret all these forms of the functions. Looking at these representations of the function below, how are these representations alike? How are they different? Pause, take a moment, and study these. Now, tell me what some of the similarities you notice. 3 of them, table, function, and diagram, all clearly lay out the values. However, only the function and the sequence give us a formula for calculation. Once we've looked at these different forms, we can begin to be comfortable with trying to see how these work. So in our first exercise, we're going to complete the following table using the definition of f, where f transforms the input x into the output y, where every x is assigned to the expression 2 of x. You'll notice this is exactly what we just did, but now we're going to understand why it works the way it did. So if I have an input of 0, then my output will be 2 to the 0 or 1. If I have an input of 1, my output is 2 to the 1 or 2. If I have an input of 2, then my output is 2 to the 2 or 4. And then 3 to the 2 to the third is 8, 16, 32. What that then means is I can now understand this language, f of 0, f of 1, f of 2, f of 3, and write it in the following way. By writing this as, you can always do a copy and paste, f of 0 equals 1, f of 1 equals 2, f of 2 equals 4, input of 3 equals 8, f of 4 equals 16, and f of 5 equals 32. Notice both of these describe the same thing. This describes it as a table, and this describes it in function form. What's the range of f? The range is the name for the output. So in this case, we would say that the range is equal to all the outputs, which in this case are 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, and 32. Notice we use set notation. Now let's say I take a different situation. Let's say I take a squaring function where I say let f of x be the function where x is turned into, the input of x is turned into the output of x squared, where x is a set of all real numbers. And we're given this whole range. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to use a spreadsheet to define the same thing. Follow up with me there.